as I dive deep into history to uncover the story of the worst king you probably never knew existed. Let's see if I can make it through all the crazy details. History is full of notorious rulers who left their mark on the world, often for all the wrong reasons. We've all heard of the likes of Nero, Caligula, and Vlad the Impaler, but there's one king whose reign was marked by terrible decisions and consequences that remain largely forgotten. One of the biggest issues King Farouk of Egypt faced during his reign was the complete economic collapse of his country. His extravagant spending and lack of financial oversight led to rampant inflation, widespread poverty, and a severe decline in living standards. To make matters worse, he was also embroiled in a disastrous war with Israel, which not only drained the country's resources but also led to a humiliating defeat. The Egyptian people were fed up with his lavish lifestyle, which was in stark contrast to their own struggles, and social unrest began to simmer just below the surface. Farouk's actions only exacerbated these problems, as he attempted to divert attention away from his own failures by scapegoating minority groups and political opponents. He imposed harsh restrictions on the press, restricted civil liberties, and used violence to quell dissent. The economy continued to nosedive, and the country teetered on the brink of chaos. His government was plagued by corruption, with officials embezzling funds meant for public services, and the king himself was accused of stealing millions from the national treasury. As the situation spiraled out of control, Farouk became increasingly isolated and paranoid, surrounding himself with yes-men and advisors who were too afraid to tell him the truth. He made reckless decisions, such as selling off Egypt's gold reserves to fund his own lavish lifestyle, and his country was on the verge of bankruptcy. King Farouk's rise to power was marked by nepotism and backroom deals. His uncle, King Fuad, had died under suspicious circumstances, and Farouk was declared king at the tender age of 16. He was uneducated, vain, and selfish, with a penchant for expensive cars, luxurious parties, and extravagant gifts to his friends and mistresses. His reign was marked by a series of disastrous decisions, including his support for the Axis powers during World War II, which led to Egypt being occupied by British forces. One of the most significant factors that contributed to Farouk's downfall was his decision to appoint a corrupt and incompetent prime minister, who was more interested in lining his own pockets than in governing the country. This led to widespread corruption, and the country was plagued by black markets, smuggling, and organized crime. The king's own corrupt dealings were soon exposed, and the people of Egypt had had enough. The pivotal moment in Farouk's reign came in 1952, when a group of army officers, led by Gamal Abdel Nasser, staged a coup that would bring an end to the monarchy and establish a new republic. Farouk was forced to abdicate, and he fled the country in ignominy, leaving behind a legacy of corruption, poverty, and repression. In conclusion, King Farouk's reign was a disaster from start to finish, marked by catastrophic decisions, corruption, and extravagance. His legacy has had a lasting impact on Egyptian history, and he deserves to be remembered as one of the worst kings to have ever ruled. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on King Farouk in the comments below. If you want to see more historical content, be sure to subscribe and check out our other video on the fascinating history of ancient Egypt.